Fortune's outside. Bob Samuelson will be in the middle. Steve Timmons, he will play opposite. And Bob Severtlich, well, he'll play the opposite. He'll do a lot of passing.
And the Americans are coached by Fred Sturm. It's the United States, led by the likes of Bob Samuelson and Steve Timmons against. We'll pause now for this regional break. In play, the Americans are 4-0. Japan is 0-4 in Pool A. So it's a hungry Japanese team. And, of course, the Americans on the road for the first time, Kirk.
On the road for the first time, they beat this Japanese team 3-0 in 2 matches in the United States. We'll see if it changes here.
Yeah, the Americans, of course, played China twice in the States and struggled at the Great Western Forum, eking out a 5-set match victory. Matsuda serves as we begin play in Japan. Samuelson, oh, he hit the net. That's a point for the Japanese.
Jeff Stork trying to go to the quick attack right away. Bob Samuelson follows through into the net.
Matsuda serves again. The tip by Fortune is down. And it's side out United States. Dan Greenbaum setting tonight. Notice Brian Ivy, we are sharing this feed with NHK in Japan. It is not Ivy, it is Dan Greenbaum. There's a kill on the outside from Izzy Mukawa.
Masayuki Izumikawa, the young player, they're going to try him a lot. Want to see how he performs under pressure.
Japan leading 1-0. Samuelson with a strong blast.
Well, Samuelson's a terminal hitter. Every time he goes up, something good or bad, but usually good, happens.
Americans captain Scott Fortune with that short serve. Quick attack in the middle. And the Americans and Samuelson cannot dig it. A winner for Ueda. And Ueda is the Japanese captain. This is a veteran Japanese team. They've played together now for a few years, but they are minus their fine outside hitter tonight, Yuichi Nakagaichi, who's still hurting from a bad knee. He had arthroscopic surgery. Minami got up on the net, but he tooled the block wide.
Good double quick run. Good offensive scheme by Dan Greenbaum. Almost said Jeff Stork that time.
Well, we're accustomed to seeing the Americans set by Jeff Stork, but Dan Greenbaum to setting spot tonight. What about that change with Greenbaum?
Well, the change, Jeff Stork did not make the trip. His wife was due with a baby any day. He decided to stay home to see his baby born.
And it really is a good opportunity now for Fred Sturm to look at Dan Greenbaum, who figures to be our backup setter in Barcelona. Outside Timmons, and he hit it long.
Steve Timmons likes to go down the line. That time he turned his wrist out just too much.
2-0 Japan. And Izzy Mukawa goes for the jump serve. This time, Timmons has a rocket.
Little Hut setter 5 behind to Steve Timmons. Nice quick hit.
Steve Timmons compiled 33 kills against the Japanese in the 2 matches in the States. On the outside, Aoyama with a big hit.
Shiguru Aoyama. A little struggle with the name that time. Outside he goes up, sees the block, goes down the line. Nice play.
He had 20 kills in a World League match against the United States last year. Japan leading 2-0. Samuelson out of the back row is done. Here's a chance for Japan. And a big hit from the opposite side hitter, Izzy Mukawa.
I wouldn't be surprised, Randy, when the big hitter Nakagaichi comes back, we see both he and Izzy Mukawa in the Olympics playing together.
We also have another outstanding hitter, Masafumi Oro, who had 26 kills against the Americans in the first match. He's on the roster tonight, but not starting.
Of course, the problem they have is all 3 of those players are opposite type players, not really good passers, but great hitters.
A kill for Ogino, and it's 4-0 Japan. A great start here in Osaka for the home team. Aoyama again, looking to score for Japan. Samuelson. Oh, he's out of the gate quickly, and it's good to see. He bruised his thigh against the Japanese in the first World League match, and glad to see him back. Something
we're seeing, too, is Dan Greenbaum going to Bob Samuelson, and they're more accustomed to playing together. They have for the last 3 years. Fortune got it. Stabertlich puts it over the net. Nice hustle by the Americans.
get that one. Izzy Mukawa's got a hot hand early in this match. It remains 4-0 Nippon.
Good, quick. They fake to the one. The block is faked out. Nobody home. Right over the top, Izzy Mukawa.
Izzy Mukawa, only 21 years of age, and Seiji Oko thinks he's going to be a great player the next few years. Brian Ivy cut the shot, but it was dug by the Japanese. Timmons goes to the off speed, and it works for him.
Talk about this being an experienced team for Japan. Actually, they're very young. Two 21-year-olds, a 22-year-old out on the floor. So this is a young but experienced Japanese team. There's Brian Ivy.
And he is a collegiate teammate of both Dan Greenbaum and Nick Becker, who are on this American squad. Another kill for Ogino.
Jim McLaughlin, one of the assistant coaches now for the U.S. team, helping out. He's the coach at SC, done a great job with that program.
It's 4-0 Japan. The Americans have yet to score on the road. Japanese playing excellent defense in the back row. And some heavy heat from Izzy Mukawa, his 5th kill.
And doing a great job after they dig the ball. Big point for Izzy Mukawa.
And Japan leads 5-0. Back with more in a moment.
My feet are so sweaty and smelly. My wife calls me...
Japan and Kirk, they changed setters in this match. Jeff Stork not here, and Dan Greenbaum setting the team, and they've struggled.
Well, I think it will make a difference. New setter in there, but Dan Greenbaum has experience. He's been the starting setter for the last year and a half, and he'll go to the guys he knows. That's Samuelson, Fortune, and Ivy. It'll take Timmons and Stavrlik a little while to get used to him.
Greenbaum serving. Ace! First point for the United States. Former All-American at USC. He played collegiately with both Ivy and Becker.
The overhead shot, you see the no communication passing formation right there.
All three of the back row begged off the ball. Woo! And it was Bob Samuelson with the stuff block for the winner. And America's 2nd point in game 2.
Samuelson, a lot of fire, always likes to be in the match. Good intensity.
And that intensity is much needed for the Americans as they're trailing 2 serving 5. And the Americans and Steve Timmons go into the net. Our lead official is Jean-Francois Marty of France. He's working with Marc Dumont of Canada in this match. 5 serving 2. Samuelson nearly with a facial.
Here it is again. Samuelson up high, cocks his arm, quick swing, a lot of power.
Samuelson able to read that move by the hitter, but he just tooled it wide. But a good effort by Bob Samuelson. Kirk, the Americans apparently getting better up on the block.
Well, they must block this team. That's one big advantage they have over this Japanese team, is their blocking.
And speaking of blocking, Aoyama with a solo job on Bob Stavrlik.
Not tall, 6'2", Aoyama jumps well, gets up over the net. Good block.
His 3rd year in the World League of Volleyball. Good by Matsuda. Joust tipped over to the Japanese side. Aoyama off the block.
Little squeaker through the fingers that time by Aoyama. 7-2, Japanese with a big lead in game 1.
Substantial gap. The Americans are trailing, but this is a United States team. Off what we saw in the States, capable of scoring a lot of points in a hurry. Well, the off speed for Timmons.
Something else we saw is they're a team that tends to get behind in the first 2 games. They have been playing from behind most of the World League.
Bob Samuelson with a tough jump serve. Timmons is blocked. He was off balance, but Nami made a nice effort.
Terrible set, trapped him, came inside. He never got to the ball, Steve Timmons.
And Izzy Mukawa will serve. Ivy didn't get a good read on that set. But there's a block from Brian Ivy, as he was able to beat Manami on the play. There's Brian Ivy, twice the Collegiate Player of the Year at USC. Big Red, Steve Timmons. A quick attack from Manami in the middle.
Matsuda, a very good quick attacker, uses his hands, quick release, runs a very quick attack.
And Kirk, the Japanese, let's give them some credit. They're playing excellent defense.
They're playing very good defense, and their serve receive is a key. Right now, they're receiving serve extremely well, as opposed to the U.S. team that's having trouble.
Greenbaum went for the dump. It was read again by the Japanese. Long rally. Ojino. Fans love it here in Osaka, Japan.
Quick set to the outside. Ojino extends, goes by the block inside, and celebrates.
It's 8 serving 2 and a service fault back to the United States. Americans need these opportunities. They're well back in game 1, best 3 out of 5 here at Osaka. And Bob Stavertlich, former Player of the Year at Pepperdine. Ojino off speed.
Right now, the Japanese attack are doing what they want. They try and keep teams off balance by changing their patterns, and right now it's working very well.
They're holding on to that 8-2 lead. Manami and the Japanese looking for their 9th point of game 1. There's a kill. Fine attack from Scott Fortune.
Scott Fortune's played all the positions except setter on this U.S. team, the middle, the outside, opposite. Settled in now as the passing swing hitter.
Was a middle blocker for 3 seasons at Stanford, where he played for Coach Fred Stern. Again in the middle, the Japanese work it with Ueda, their captain.
What sets all that up is a good pass. You get to pass up to the net, everything works.
Timmons dink! Oh, what a beautiful off-speed shot from the veteran Steve Timmons.
Teams dig in so much for Steve Timmons because he has so much power. The blockers the diggers get down, they just don't get up. He tips that ball over the block.
Greenbaum, who served America's only 2 points in this match. And that one was blocked long. Another kill, his 4th in this first game for Ojino. 8-2, Japan holding on. And they have your favorite uniforms again tonight.
The green and black, whatever, Joker uniforms.
No joke there is Izzy Mukawa with the block, and it's 9-2.
All I know is Steve Timmons did not like these uniforms much.
Yeah, he said after the first match, the Japanese played as ugly as their uniform.
Oh, I like that.
Samuelson going cross court.
And Bob Samuelson really very comfortable. Dan Greenbaum out there, it seems. He's very comfortable, hits the ball high over the block. Nice play.
What a block by Stavertlich. He read Aoyama. He watched Aoyama's approach. He steadied himself against Aoyama and beat him one-on-one. And a service fault by Fortune.
Almost took off the head of Samuelson that time. Skinned his head, which is a good trick, actually.
Yeah. It's going well for the Japanese. Again, they're looking for their first victory in the World League this season. Last year, the Japanese were 5-11. The Americans were 6-10. But the Americans obviously much improved. UV Acosta in for the first time tonight. And Acosta will go back and serve. Americans need a spark.
Good server, has a jump serve as well as a deep floater. Going back for the floater.
From El Paso, Texas, Acosta serves, and it's just long. Oh, that looked very close.
We hate to see that when your serving specialist comes in, does not serve an especially tough serve, and it goes out of bounds.
Izzy Mukawa, one of the rare jump serve artists on this Japanese team.
We'll see a team like Brazil that has 5 or 6 of them who'll jump serve. France, same thing, but the Japanese, more the floater.
As I was noticing, looking over the France roster, they are not with Hervé Maison anymore. He has since left the national team, and One of the great jump serve specialists in the world is Timmins nets. So France's offense somewhat hampered, and they're struggling in the World League. Oyama serves. And Ivy just got enough of it to put it down.
It's got his fingertips on the top of that ball, sort of curled it down, the big tip over the block.
Stavert looking, the Americans very hungry. Only a couple points in this first game. Had a nice bit of moving around at the net by Manami.
Well, Manami is moving his teammates around. The hitter's not going any one place. Good offense run by the Japanese.
Manami, a very solid citizen for this team from Japan. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Quick attack again in the middle, and it's Ueda. And it's 10-3 Japan. They've opened up a 7-point advantage over the United States. Game 1, best 3 out of 5.
Here it is. The ace just drops right in. Nice serve. Goes down the line. Plays it up. Greenbaum with a nice play. Fortune goes up. Hits that ball back. Japanese right there for the free ball. Up high. Down the middle. Straight down. Another point.
Japan looks outstanding. We'll have more on Sports Channel after this.
The United States Volleyball Association is an organization serving the volleyball community.
What are they going to have to do to rally?
Well, they have to start receiving serve first so they can run their offense, make it a little easier on Dan Greenbaum, and then try and get the Japanese out of their rhythm by serving tougher.
What a confidence builder for Japan. Remember, they lost 2 matches to the United States and didn't win a set in the process. There's a good offensive show from the former USC stars. Greenbaum feeding Ivy. Brian Ivy's going to go out of the lineup, replaced by his collegiate teammate Nick Becker. There's Nick, an outstanding back row player, good passer.
Bob Samuelson came back in too. They do that double switch. Like to do that when they can. Get a server in the back row, good defensive player. They bring the big middle blocker back in.
Red Storm looking for a combination that'll work in this first game. There's a hitting error. That'll help. Ojeda hit it long, and it's a point for the United States. And it'll be 4 serving 10. Japanese can't relax against this American team, which is 4-0 in the World League. There's a kill, and again, it's that opposite hitter, Izumukawa, his 6th of game 1.
Matsuda is doing a great job of isolating his hitters one-on-one all over the net.
Samuelson. And nobody got up, but it was an easy shot for him. You got to get a block up or Samuel put it away.
Well, Sammy has his whole, he gathers together. There is no one in the world that hits as hard as he does. He brings heat to the floor.
Ueda took something off of that. The lane was wide open, and it's side out Japan.
Ueda in the game. He's the captain. Doesn't always start. They have Otake, big 6'11" young player, but I like Ueda in the game. He's a lot more stable, does a lot of things for you.
And Scott Fortune hitting over the block. So Otake of the United States, and he had some good offensive moments, but the Americans blocked him at times and really flustered the young middle attacker, the 6'11" middle blocker of Japan. There's a roof for Samuelson.
Again, it's the combination of Samuelson and Timmins blocking for points.
Suddenly the Americans with 5 on the board. They're down 10-5. Trying to fight back. Another hitting error by Izumukawa, and the Americans within 4.
Happens so often. You stuff a guy straight down. He tries to hit high. Hits over the top of the block. We'll have a replay. Buzzer went off right in the middle of that play. They'll call a replay. Not sure exactly why. I didn't see anything happen, Randy. I think they just tried to call something, and scorer was wrong.
6 serving 10. Americans with a free ball with an opportunity to score again. Japanese not running their offense well. But Stavertlick is roofed, and it was Izumukawa. We don't see him block very often. He's a specialist on the attack, but he read that one well.
Is one of the taller players on the Japanese team. They'd like to see him block a lot more. I know that Coach Oko wants to see him become a good blocker.
Samuelson. When he hits it, it gets there in a hurry.
Boy, that was way over the top of the block. Nice play by Bob Samuelson extending over.
Americans down 6 serving 10 as Brian Ivy checks back into the front row. And Samuelson with that jump serve, capable of scoring points in a hurry for the Americans. There's a service. Good serve. Then Aoyama on the outside nailed it very long, and he tried to go over the block. And you see when you get that block up, Kirk, how it can force a hitter. And the Americans score once again. They're within 3. They've cut Japan's lead to 10-7 on Sports Channel.
Turn your backyard into a recreational complex with Sport Court.
Back in game 1, Japan was leading 10-3. Suddenly it's 10-7.
During the timeout, the coaches were asking the team to stack a block. That means one guy goes behind the middle guy and they follow a hitter as he comes around. Let's see if it works.
Somewhat stoic look on that Japanese bench. They're relaxed, but their teammates struggling currently until here. Well, Aoyama hits it straight down.
Well, the stack obviously didn't help that time. Aoyama, both blockers in front of him went over the top. Jump serve by Samuelson. Here we see it. Good set. They fake to the middle, go to the outside, over the top and down.
Side out for the Americans. And the opposite again on the near side, Izzy Mikawa. Boy, he had a good first game. Remember, he's replacing Ora. Masafumi Ora was spectacular in the first match against the United States. And Izzy Mikawa really helping his teammates in this opening game. Timmons on the outside, tooling it off the block. And Bob Stavertlik will serve for the United States, trailing in game 1, 10-7. Greenbaum with a quick set to Fortune, and Ueda couldn't quite run it down. The Americans now are playing much better, and they've moved to within 2. It's 10-8 Japan, and here comes the United States. Another chance. Greenbaum sets. There's the dink by Fortune, but it's red. That one's netted by Izzy Mukawa. He's had a couple of hitting errors, and the Americans creep back to within 1 at 10-9.
Well, young players can do that. They can be great or they can be awful. Right now, Izzy Mukawa having trouble.
And there's a horrible-looking shot by Banami. They just threw that point away, and it's 10-all.
7 straight points now by the U.S., Randy.
They ran off 12 in a row and 11 in a row in the first 2 matches against this team. Timmons and the Americans lead. The United States fighting back, showing great character as Otake, that big middle blocker, the inexperienced player, comes in. (11-10). Japan is struggling. Ivy! And it's 12-10.
Set was low from Greenbaum. Great save by Ivy as he tips over the blockers.
Brian still with that facial growth, which has become his trademark. And Izzy Mukawa suddenly can't find the court.
Boy, what a collapse on this Japanese team. Bad pass. You compound it by hitting the ball out of bounds.
And here comes Masafumi Ora for Izzy Mukawa. Ora, another one of those fine hitters, and obviously a little bit more consistent than Izzy Mukawa, who started out great but has faltered. Argentina, great dig, Samuelson. And a rally won by the Japanese at Argino. See if Japan can regroup. We've seen a 10-3 lead slip away. Fortune nailing it. He got it off the block. Americans leading 13-10. 10 unanswered points.
You can just feel the confidence of the U.S. team now. They've come back all this way, have the lead, playing much better all of a sudden.
Dig by Timmons. Mishandling of the ball.
And a yellow card for Sammy. I can hear it as soon as he did that. As soon as he heard the whistle, he yelled, "No!" The ref heard him too. I don't think he said no, actually, though. But
well, Samuelson, very vocal, spirited player, wanting to win, and he shows his emotions.
The yellow card's only a warning, no point given or taken. Second yellow card, though. Yeah, that's a point.
Timmons tip. Well, he's gone to the tip effectively in this first game.
Well, he really has. The block's out in front of him. They're dug in the back row. He sees that big hole. Campfire defense isn't getting the job done.
Over 400 international matches in the career of Steve Timmons. There's a quick attack in the middle, and it's Ueda who's been effective up there for Japan. And again in the middle, Steve Timmons. Boy, he likes being in the middle.
I think he likes being on the floor, Randy. He plays well opposite in the middle, but you're definitely much more involved as a middle attacker. You're jumping every time.
There's a cut shot that's wide of the Japanese.
Well, it's been hitting us, Randy, no doubt about it. They've just gone falling apart, hitting balls out of bounds. Point game, U.S.
14-10, 11 unanswered points for the United States. There's a side out, much needed by Japan, on the kill by Aoyama.
But as we see so often, Aoyama's 7th kill, we see so often it's unforced errors that do it all the time, hitting balls out of bounds.
Japan trying to score. It's been a long time. Green bomb sets. And Timmons nailed it off of Otake, side out. He's just got too much experience for Otake when they collide at the net. The second time the Americans trying to close out the game. Free ball. It's wide, and the Americans win the game, 15-10. What a comeback, scoring the final 12 points of game one, culminated by the kill by Steve Timmons. So the United States staggering out of the gate with a tremendous kick to the finish line in game one, and they're up a game here in Osaka.